When we were at university, I had a crush on you.
Oh, I felt the same.
I'm David Nicholls. I'm a novelist and screenwriter of One Day.
The problem is I fancy pretty much everyone.
I worked as an actor through most of my 20s. I studied English and drama at university and then went to New York to study acting and came back to London and had 8 years of just a disastrous acting career. And I was spending a lot of time reading scripts. And I gradually started to get work as a script reader and a script editor. And from that, I finally, with the encouragement of several friends, was finally persuaded that I might need to try writing something myself. So a friend of mine asked me to co-write a movie with him called Simpatico, which is an adaptation of a Sam Shepard play. And I think I realized that all the time I'd spent as an actor, what I'd really loved was not the performing, but the writing.
Based on the international bestseller.
You're getting married.
Yeah.
That critics called a modern classic.
It's true that there's a wariness of allowing the author to adapt their own book. I think there's a perception that they'll stomp and scream and hold on to, long interior monologues and pages of description, and that they won't cut anything, and the film will be 4 hours long. And there's probably a little bit of that. There's probably a little bit of truth in that. But I did start as a screenwriter, and I know that screenwriting involves lots of difficult cuts. It involves lots of painful rewriting, that it involves constant changes, constant revisions. So I was, I think, probably prepared for some of that.
Everyone's lost at 25.
You're not. Trainee TV producer.
Oh, welcome to Late Night Lock-In!
Nice new flat.
Casting is always the director's job. I think the director has the director's role in cinema is much more like the author's role in fiction. And very early on, I was delighted with Anne and Jim and with Romola and Rafe, who played the other central couple, and I'm really delighted with the casting. It's inevitable that when you put faces to literary characters, they don't always match up with the face that's in the reader's imagination. But for me, that has to be part of the pleasure. The book and the film will always be a different thing. There'll always be a different experience. There's no way of recreating a reader's experience of the novel because every reader's experience of the novel is different. So I hope people go in open-minded and don't sort of turn the pages in their head, but rather watch the film as a film. Having said that, as adaptations go, it's very close to the book. There's very little in the film that isn't in the book.
I just called to let you know you are the best friend I've ever had.
I'm touched, Dex, but you're off your face.
Dexter? Dex?
When I watch this movie, I sometimes see Anne do something very precise and subtle with her eyes, or see Jim just capture a moment absolutely right, just get something absolutely right. I get very jealous of that, and it's the one thing that, in all honesty, I had absolutely no talent for whatsoever. I was a terrible, terrible actor. But I love acting, I love watching it, and I love seeing it done well.
You gate-crashed my birthday party, called me Julie, and spilled red wine down my top.
Ouch.
I'm not good at this.
Maybe we could just be friends.
Emma and Dexter have completely dominated the last 5 years of my life, and that's been terrific, and not something I'd ever dream of complaining about, but it's made it very hard to come up with a new character or a new story or situation.
I missed you, Dex.
I screwed up my career. I screwed up my friendships.
That's not true.
I think the best advice that anyone has given me is to actually take a deep breath and show people your work. I think writing for yourself in private can be useful and is a way to learn your craft, and you certainly shouldn't show people your rough notes. You should work and polish. But when you have a piece of work that you're proud of and which you think achieves something of what you wanted to achieve, then you need to take a deep breath and choose one or two respected, wise, sensitive readers and see what they think. Because that's why writers write. They write to be read, and at some point you've got to take a deep breath and show people.